There's nothing left in Bogaskale except ghosts and forgotten gods. If you want to visit Hattusha, it's your choice. More beer, perhaps. The stocky Turk smiled and opened another 2 bottles. I was staying at his pension in Cappadocia in Turkey and would eventually pay for all these 12 branded beers. Next day I made the decision, switching 4 buses to Anatolian towns that did not qualify for the Lonely Planet guidebook. I arrived in Sangluru, the nearest town to Bogaskale, in a torrential downpour. A schoolboy guided me to a taxi stand, but the driver refused. Too far, bad weather, he continued smoking menacingly like an extra from a spaghetti western. The boy was belligerent, interceded on my behalf in Turkish, reminding him that I was not just a tourist, but an Effendi, a Muslim friend. The driver reluctantly agreed to a $10 fare, but grumbled throughout the 30-kilometer drive in the beat of Bojo on tar country roads. After checking in at the Hattusha pension, I asked the concierge for dinner options. He went into the pantry and came out with a stale meat pie. I ate while trying to strike a conversation, but he continued watching Ghostbusters, which was dubbed in Turkish. I walked upstairs, irritated from a fever. I settled into one of the 4 large beds in the bare room next to the window. Through the shutter, I could see a lone street light in the drizzle and felt out of place. I was tired of being a tourist in one donkey towns in windswept Anatolian highland. I popped 2 Nyquils, turned off the light, and went to sleep. My fever broke around 3 in the morning. I woke up drenched in sweat. Outside, the street light was out, but the rain had continued. Far away, I heard canine howls. But nearby, I heard measured footsteps. I tried to ignore them, but their rhythmic intrigued my imagination. Pacing, approaching, receding, varying with contemplation. I tried to recall if there were other guests in the hotel, but drew a blank. Following the universal pattern of Hollywood supernatural thrillers, I lit a cigarette and stepped out into the corridor, leading to the other rooms with my flashlight. The steps stopped. I returned to my room, finished my cigarette, lied down. Rain continued spluttering against the windows, the canines howled, and the footsteps started again with methodical pacing. This time I rushed out into the corridor, furious, and called out, "Gone!" forgetting that Urdu was not understood in Turkey. The footsteps stopped. I returned. But this time I slipped into my bed neatly. They started again, but this instance the footsteps seemed closer and louder, and I deciphered a pattern. Is it 1, 2, 3, stop? Or is it 1, 2, 3, 4, stop? Is it 1, 2? Slowly I realized the steps were following the patterns that I was imagining, rather than the other way around. And my rational analysis turned into elemental fear. It seemed absurd. It seems absurd now. But I was stricken with terror. I tried to remember the Quranic verses for protection against evil. Oh, I wished I had paid attention to those teachers. All those teachers who asked me to memorize the 4 codes. Instead, I recalled supernatural tales of jinns, haunted houses, mischievous specters. Finally, the rhythmic verses formed early in my consciousness emerged. From the time when I learned the prayers from my aunt, the multiple bows and prostrations, a time of indefatigable faith before existentialism and quantum physics. I recited the Surat al-Nas, Malik al-Nas, Ilahi al-Nas, the one about protection from the evil of the sneaking whisperers and jinns. The steps continued. I stuck my head under a pillow and eventually passed out. Dawn brought reason, embarrassment, and an impeding biological need. I rushed to the toilet. The first latrine stall was occupied by a man, naked except for a pair of yellow shorts pulled lower and exceptionally hairy back. He was contoured over a bucket with a razor in his hand. He smiled sheepishly. I rushed past him into another stall. When I came out, he was gone. I mended myself with black tea, olives, and feta cheese. I put off the previous night events as an embarrassment, an after effect of NyQuil and perhaps other paraphernalia. At Hattusha, the Hittite city outside Bogaskale, I was the only tourist. I spent the day walking through the remnants of a 4,000-year-old Bronze Age superpower. Massive stone pyramids, moss-covered tunnels, and an impressive lion's gate for protection against demons. By mid-afternoon, there was another cloudburst, and I hitched a ride with the locals to the pension. After lunch, another meat pie, but this time with salad, I asked the concierge if there were other guests staying over last night. No guests, no employees, just you. You stay another night, perhaps? Bus is cancelled because of rain, he said. I found the driver from last night smoking in the lobby. Today, he wanted $20. I refused. Outside, thunderstruck. Tashub is angry, he grinned. My guidebook described Tashub as the Hittite god of thunder, a male-born and mischievous god conceived from the union of two male gods. He was born from an anus as he could not find a better exit. At 4 p.m., my pride broke, and I agreed to a quick exit. You pray, the driver said as I got off in Sanguru. Sometimes, I said. Then someone must be praying for you, he said as he rode off in his Porsche.